Hi everyone, this is AlphaAli. Welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone's okay. So today I'm doing another VOD review. This is for Froggy. We have had a few Froggy VOD reviews before. Froggy has moved up from Plat to Diamond, which is absolutely amazing. So we're going to be going through today and basically VOD reviewing Froggy. We have the Hanjo Spark skin on, which I always think is super pretty. No weapon charm though, which is like a little bit unfortunate because I always love like looking at people's weapon charms and stuff. So yeah, so we're going to be going to be VOD reviewing Froggy today, and about like a diamond level. So I might go a bit more in depth about things. So if you are a higher ranked Mercy, I 100% would stick around for this because I might end up saying some things that maybe might help you as well. So once again, you can get your own VOD reviews. They offer 5,000 channel points on my Twitch. They are absolutely for free as well, so you can literally come along, earn the channel points, and just like listen in and stay kind of just to like, you know, just stay and like chill out in like the chat and stuff like that. I've got a lovely community over there. So yeah, so looking at the team that Froggy has right now, so Froggy has told me that she was queued with the, oh no, it's the little Mercy charm. I've just seen it now. Okay, I love the Mercy charm. It's actually really cute. So Froggy has told me that she was queuing with the Ash essentially, and also knew the Sigma. So I feel as though I'm gonna start with the VOD and then I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say if it happens, and if not, it's okay. So we're gonna go ahead and just start the VOD and we're gonna see what happens. And yeah, what I feared has already happened, okay? Because even though you are queued with this Ash, you want to be playing with the Pharah, okay? Because by all means, you know, you are playing with this Ash, you're queued with this Ash, okay? That's great, awesome. But you're in like diamond level, right? It's not like you're in like, you know, the lower ranks and stuff now, where it's like you can pretty much like, you know, if you are queued with someone, then you probably will end up staying with them. You're in this diamond level right now. So essentially, I know obviously this is one of your friends and stuff like that. You don't want to be staying with him until he gets a better angle than the Pharah. In the tier list of like damage boostable people, I would say it's probably Pharah is the most important, then Echo, and then people like Ash and your Sojourn, your Cassidy, and your Soldier are kind of like in that bit, alright? So I would be playing up against these roofs and playing with the Pharah. Pharah is really strong at this first point, specifically when Pharah gets control of this like high ground section up here, like this little train, because then she can literally just, she can just rain down bullets on top of here, alright? So we're going to carry on going though and see what happens. Yeah, can you see like your Pharah is like waiting for heals right now? Nice, going in though. Yeah, now we're doing it now. We're doing the right thing now of obviously going in with her. This is what you should have been doing beforehand though. Now don't get me wrong, like you can still look out for your duo, and it also really helps that you have communication with someone that isn't your pocket target. I feel as though for example, it really helps when I queue with people like a Brig or like just any kind of like support, because obviously there's a lot more communication that can go on like for the entire like for the entire match. So having obviously being having your Ash basically means that she can like tell you, well, the Ash can tell you when she's being dove upon or when something's happening to her and stuff like that. I'd come this game with Brig, Sigma, and Ash. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the comms are so strong, and especially when it's like people that you know and stuff like that. You can really trust them and like know what they're talking about, and also you're gonna like know whose is whose and stuff like that. So yeah. So obviously we're doing the right thing now, going in with Pharah. We're gonna see what ends up happening. Obviously lovely rotation. Obviously notice the traces there. Lovely rotation away from her. Nice ping as well. I don't know whether that was your ping or someone else's. Nice. Once again, onto the point. Instead of like flinging yourself onto the point though, because you have 3 people on, because obviously you know the max amount of people is like 3 in order to capture an objective. So I would have just J'd up here and then just played up here. The reason is because you still have this tracer, and so what's it called? Oh, he's Jungle Queen. Yeah, it was Sigma at the start though, so it's alright. We know who you mean and stuff like that. But yeah, I would have like J'd up to here just to play up here, just purely because this tracer can still come in and like touch and contest, and obviously you don't want to take any of that extra damage and stuff like that. But anyways, I like how you're going to push forward with your Ash here, because obviously the Pharah hasn't. This is fine to damage your Ash at this point, because obviously your Pharah isn't taking advantage, so you can obviously go in with the Ash. However, once your Pharah wants to get in and like be aggressive, then of course you want to go in with her. So nice. That's helping her. They have a, what's it called? They have Widow now, so you need to be careful. Play your cover, very, very nice. Nice use of cover. Lovely. Yeah, you're fine. I was about to say, actually, maybe like look for your jungle queen if it's alright. Lovely GA. Okay, yeah, I'm hoping you're gonna crouch here. Sorry, I might have paused it a little bit too soon. Perfect. You're doing so well. Yes. I think the only thing I would do slightly differently with this rotation is I would have been crouched down here. You can wait for Widow to kind of like shoot. As soon as you hear that Widow shot like sound, it takes you like a second or two. I don't know the exact timings in order to get it up to a charged shot again. So as soon as you hear her shoot, bam, rotate, come back. Okay, it's awesome. But overall, you're doing really, really well so far, right? Yep. So obviously now you want to go in with your Farah. Instead of doing like a weird GA like that, you can literally just GA up onto this high ground here. Because as soon as you know this Farah is healthy enough, you know that she'll want to dive in onto this Widow. Now, obviously, you might not want to go in like straight away, especially because you're all the way down here. So I would do a GA when she like starts to fly up. I'd do a GA and maybe just cancel it here. And then as soon as the set, like you've waited that 1.5 seconds, you can then maybe like go and GA up to here and like play kind of like, because unfortunately there's not very much cover here and you don't obviously want to be on the ground for these people. So yeah, so you want to be playing around and stuff like that. So yeah. But overall, I love how obviously she's going in and diving. So end up like disconnected from her, that's fine. I would have maybe gone in and played with her a little bit more. Lovely res though around the cover, which is great. Obviously the trace is behind. Lovely use of cover from the cart. Recoiled. Okay, nice. I don't think there's been anything else you could do there. Sadly, Ash gets taken out by the Widow. I'd still be following your Farah here though. You seem very hesitant to trust this Farah. I feel as though like you should just, because Froggy, I know your movements is really, really good, right? So literally just trust this Farah a little bit more, okay? Trust her a little bit more. Like I know obviously you're cute with this Ash, but honestly, if you still have comms with this Ash, then it's fine. Just go in with this Farah, all right? But nice healing there. Love the damage from the Jungle Queen. I'd still keep the beam on the Jungle Queen here right now instead of the Brig. The reason is because Brig is still very far away from like anyone to attack her and stuff like that compared to the Jungle Queen. And obviously you can hear this like Tracer come in, which is, it's nice that you're looking around for her. So you can see her. As soon as you kind of like hear her, and you're playing the payload really, really well here. As soon as you hear her though, I'd be looking to kind of like maybe escape to this Farah, because then it means you're up in the air and very, very away from her. But honestly, you're playing a lot of cover right now very, very well to help her. You don't need to be on the point still here though, because remember, the Tracer's holding this point down. So you're, you're not going to be able to push it any further. You're not going to be able to do anything. So literally, you just like, as soon as she's like gets this clip on you, GA, completely like away to go and help someone over here, and then just slingshot yourself up into the air if you need to, right? Because who have they got to attack you? They've got I can't see the DPS sadly, which is annoying. Oh yeah, I can. So it's like the Tracer and the Widow, right? Widow currently I cannot see has like a sight. Oh no, the Widow's just died, right? So it doesn't have a sight line on you right now, so you can literally just go up and then fly up, because the other person that can attack you is the BAP. So literally you just want to like either like GA like really, really far away and come like over here, or you want to GA and literally fly like straight up or something like that, okay? Because you being on the payload right now is doing nothing for your team when they're all pushed up. You cannot fight this Tracer, you cannot win this 1v1 of the Tracer, you can't push the payload either. So you just want to go in, help commit with your team, and then finish off the Tracer afterwards, alright? But anyways, apart from that, you played your cover really, really well. It's just like, I feel as though I kind of like, you need to kind of understand when where your limit is, and then GA away. Alright? So your firearms get picked off, so that's fine. Obviously we're doing the very, very long walk back, which is unfortunate. Love how you got your pistol out though. I keep on forgetting to do this even myself, but it's always really good. It's specifically when teams have people like Tracers and Sombras, or just people that can spawn camp you in general. It's always really good to get your Glock out, because it saves that quick like pulling out Glock's time and then trying to get them and stuff like that. If you have it out ready, then it's really, really good. So you did that really, really well. Obviously, nice damage boost. Straight to your Ashe, which is really, really nice. Lovely GA away. I would Valk here, though. Like, as soon as you've done this GA away and you've used that cooldown, do your Valk here. And use it to help this team, right? Because the team fight is still going on. And you are, obviously, you know, people are still getting attacks and stuff like that. So, lovely GA away from this pulse bomb. As soon as you do this pulse bomb, I hope that you will Valk. Yes. Sorry, I keep on pausing like way too soon and stuff like that. Instead of like doing it like straight to your team though, I would maybe do a directional GA like to someone and then GA'd up and over here. The reason is because you can still help people, yet still play far away. So you're not you're not taking excess damage from like the hog. You're not going to take damage from the window that's just popped up and stuff. You can literally just GA and GA here. My only criticism with that Valk is I would have done it a little bit sooner. But apart from that, really, really good Valk. Alright. Lovely heals. Lovely damage boost as well. So it's going to help you fire, which is nice. Lovely cover, like using the roof from the Tracer. I just feel as though towards the end of the Valk, you got a little bit lost. I would still like, still like try and look out for your Pharah, because obviously your Pharah is still going to be your main blue beam target and stuff. So at the end of your Valk, just maybe try and like get up into the air and then maybe like on top of here or somewhere, just try and like help your Pharah. But other than that, kind of bolt is really, really good. Helping with the Tracer, which is really, really nice. Lovely rotation for the Pharah as well. Honestly, great. So we'll follow our Pharah, which is nice. I guess it's like to look for the Tracer. Obviously, it doesn't get anyone. I think this is the point where you could kind of like look for your, you can look for your Ashe here, because obviously your Ashe is like pushed up a little bit more. Obviously, if anyone got like bad spawns and forgot that you can change like spawn runes, which a lot of people forget, you can push forward obviously with your Ashe here a little bit more. But it's fine if you're kind of like hung out here. You know, there's no real like fight that's going on. I wouldn't be like down here at all really here. I would literally, because I know you were like kind of like looking to kind of like end up on this high ground and then you kind of like lost it. Like, literally just follow her up on these stairs. Use these stairs, follow her up, and then just play up here. Because you have 2 people on the payload. 2 people on the payload's fine. You don't need to have 3 people on for like the entire time, alright? So yeah. So we finally get up, which is nice. Axe gets hooked, so you can't do anything about that, sadly. Nice crouch in order to get away. And obviously you ended up like seeing, I think it was the Widow down there. Lovely kick though. Lovely use of cover. I think one thing I just would like to remind you of is you can use this, you can like be in this like little subway cart here. So say for instance, instead of GAing out here, you could GA actually into the cart over here and still help the Pharah by like peeking here. Or alternatively, you can also hug this kind of like wall here instead of just like GAing out into like the open like here, because this is leaving you very vulnerable. So you can just GA off to these sides if you need to, especially because they don't have that Tracer now in order to harass you. They only have obviously the hit scans, so obviously now you want to be playing that cover a little bit more and you're not being pushed out of it by the Tracer, okay? Obviously, Pharah gets picked off, which is fine. You know you're not going to get that res off, which is really, really nice. As soon as you see this point is being contested though, which is like, obviously you'll know when the hog starts to push up a little bit more, GA away. Because this whole hog is currently targeting your supports and stuff like that. So you can literally just use that whole hog to your advantage to then come and help and rotate to help your Ashe. Because your Ashe will need to obviously contest the Widow and also this Ashe, okay? So you can actually use this whole hog to your advantage to get around to help your Ashe a little bit more, right? Because I love how you stayed on it to try and get the maximum distance that you can. But as soon as you know that that's, you know, you can't push it anymore, like it's being contested more, get off it, okay? And just go and help. Because it's kind of... I won't say yeah, actually. I'll keep focusing on this fight. Lovely rotation though. Lovely bout. Just unfortunate. I feel as though you wanted to like GA with the Ashe. You ended up getting caught, and then you're kind of like assessing your options. Remember you still have this Farah. You know, like always like still try to remember who you have on your team, right? So obviously you have these like people on the point and stuff like that. You also have this Farah, right? You just like, need to like keep your eyes out for her a little bit more, because what you can do is you can still like hug this wall. Because you're in Valk, you can literally hug this wall and put your beam on your Farah here and help. Literally, if Farah hits one more shot onto this Ashe with the damage boost, she goes. So you can literally just stand here and just help them like this. All right, but we'll see what ends up happening. Obviously Widow's there, you've read that really, really nicely. Backing off your Ashe, which is really, really nice. Farah ends up dying. Nice rotation. Oh, how I want to know how close she was to hitting you here, because I feel as though this is just really, really unlucky. Oh no, we're gonna have to like rewind like 20 seconds or something for it. So yeah, so this is the point where I'd like maybe like help your Farah out a little bit more, because it would have helped him. Like obviously she killed the Ashe, which is great, but then it would have also helped keep her up with the Bob damage and stuff like that. And it also would have helped you keep up as well with the dynamite damage and stuff. But it's obviously just plays Bane. Gets up getting the brig. Oh, okay, yeah. You were a little bit out in the open. But to be fair, I don't think there's really anything else you could have like really done there, to be fair. I feel like the only thing was obviously this is like a big hindsight thing. If you kept the Farah up, it would have been a little bit easier. But it's right, no worries. We just reset here and we just go again. Okay, so we've switched to Genji, which is obviously okay, especially if you're confident with your Genji and stuff, with like your movement, which I know you are, Froggy. Obviously, follow on with the Genji. But Farah does have a barrage, so I'd be looking to maybe like help assist your Farah with this barrage. She ends up dying. Honestly, you can't do anything about that. You did the right thing of like trying to go for that rotation. You did sadly fail the rotation and stuff like that, which is, because I think it's your first sloppy movement which I've seen, which I feel as though we talked about sloppy movement in the previous one. You've cleaned it up a lot since then. Like this is the first one that I've seen, and we're like towards the end of like your attack. So honestly, it's got a lot better. Like your movement is great, Froggy. Lovely. Obviously, I love. Oh, okay. Unfortunately, your brig does not come back. If your brig literally helped try and like bash to somewhere else, you know, you did the right thing of waiting for her to peek and stuff like that, which is great. You honestly, you did 100% the correct thing there. And then obviously you're staying like with your Genji now, which is great. End up like falling, which is like unfortunate. To be fair, there's not like a lot of space. Okay, as soon as you hear this Jungle Queen ult, stick a damage boost on her, because that damage boost will go through all of these people. Like whoever she hits, it damage boosts the bleed effects and stuff like that to them. So obviously it'll do it on the Hog, it'll do it on the Brig, it'll also do it on the what's it called, the Ashe as well. It will do it for all of them. So just just as soon as you hear it, I'd do that, okay? But we'll keep on going. Lovely, you read where the Widow is and played out of the AlphaAli, which is nice. Nice helping on the Genji. I wanted super jumped here though. Like I feel as though like you just playing crouched behind this payload is enough right now. Because you kind of like doing a doing a super jump up here doesn't really like solve anything. Also will put you out in that LOS of maybe the enemy. Say if the enemy was still on Widow, I know they've just switched on to Genji, but say if they were still on that Widow or the Ashe is going to be there, can easily just hit you with that headshot. So just like still like play your cover down here, play underneath that payload. All right. Nice res. Obviously you assess that it's going to be alright for you to res it, which is nice. Loving that damage is on the Brig. Going to your Farah, which is nice. Valk as soon as you get it, which is nice. yeah. Overall, Froggy, that's a really strong round from you. Like, I don't really have very much to kind of say to you right now, apart from you just need to trust your DPS a little bit more. Specifically, the one that you're not with right now, you know, the Farah. Because there's certain points where you're not really looking at her and you're not really, like, paying attention to her. Like, even though she's not in voice, she is still present and she's still, like, there as, like, part of the team and stuff like that. So you still need to, like, what's it called? You still need to be looking out for her. The second thing is, I feel as though there's certain points where you're a little bit too obsessed with the point. Like, for example, there was the one where like you were trying to like get rid of the tracer. Like the first initial like dance around was good because you ended up avoiding her. As soon as you've avoided her, you then need to get out and go and like try and find someone else. And it's happened a few times where you haven't backed off the point quick enough. You've just kind of like stayed on the point. So as Mercy, you shouldn't really be the one to be on points like at all, really. And that goes for like any kind of point. That goes for like what's it called? That goes for control, that goes for like payload, hybrid, even push. The majority of them, unless it's whoever your main blue beam is and nobody else is pushing up obviously, then you're alright to stay on the point. But just as like a general thing, you shouldn't be on there. I have an issue with that, yeah. But it's good that you've recognized that though, and it's good that you're realizing that. Just you can literally take better positions and stuff like that. Okay, so looking at who we have ourselves an Ashe, a Bastion, and obviously kind of like pretty much the same. We have a Zarya, and then obviously we have your Brig. So it's fine to obviously main blue beam your Ashe now, and then obviously you'll know when the Bastion goes into turret form, your damage boost, alright? Obviously going in. If your Ashe had communicated that she wanted to do the spam damage, by the way, at the start, you could play in this room, which I know you like can. You can literally like, I know you can. You can literally like stand on this table and just kind of like peek it like this, or you can do it like this side if you want to. There's just obviously it's a little bit more risky doing it this side, and it's easier if you do it up here. It's just unfortunately it wasn't really communicated that well, I don't think. But it's fine. I love how you're checking for this flank. Like you're checking for these flanks. This is great because obviously you know this tracer, and obviously, and I feel as though you can hear her now, which is great. Nice backing off. I wouldn't go over to your Bastion here. Like, even though he's using this turret form and stuff like that, that's fine. I'd still, like, stick with your Ashe down here because he's still very, like, out of your way. And also your Ashe is trying to attack this tracer, right? So, literally, just keep on backing off with your Ashe here. And just kind of, like, back off, play, like, around this cover and stuff like that. You don't need to be with your Bastion right now. Nice. Still same thing. I still like what's it called. I still stay with your what's it called, your Ashe. That's how you're helping the Bastion though. So obviously you now know the Tracer's going to be behind you. As soon as you know that Tracer's backed off and gone down the corridor, want to keep her safe because of Tracer. Oh, okay, fair enough. I mean, to be fair, you kind of like it feels like the first point you went up when it was in the turret form, it wasn't like, you know, I didn't feel like you needed to. As soon as you noticed that it was getting attacked, though, it's great. Just remember that Bastion has a, you know, he has still have quite a big health pool. Is it 300? 300. Yeah, it is 300. Okay. Oh, someone's left the game, so I can't scroll past. Hold on, sorry. So, yeah, obviously, you know what's it called. Bastion has this, like, massive, like, health pool of obviously, like, 300 HP and stuff. So he doesn't really need too much help compared to obviously like an Ashe that has like 200 HP. So obviously you want to be staying with her a little bit more. But yeah, I like how you peel for the Bastion though. That was really, really good. And then obviously now you know this Tracer's gone. As soon as you know this Tracer has like disappeared off, because what will happen is obviously this Tracer's used her recoil and then she's used her blinks in order to escape. She's used like, I think it's like 2 blinks down this corridor. So obviously blink gets out. So now you'll know that this Tracer basically doesn't have any blinks left. She cannot attack you until she's built up them 3 blinks again, because that's when obviously the Tracer will want to re-engage. It's normally when her recoil is nearly there, and also when she has those blinks, right? So now you can literally go in and you can then go and help these people. Like you can go and maybe push in and damage boost your Zarya, or you can also go in and damage boost like basically anyone that's going to be like engaging, which right now obviously your Zarya's, and I've decided to do it again. Okay, there we go. Alright, we'll see what happens here. Obviously, you know your Ashe is being attacked. Very, very nice heal. Yes, remember, she's still behind you. You're doing such a good job of healing for people, though, which is great. Can't do anything with Bastion sadly there. Because obviously peeking out in front would be really, really dangerous. I wouldn't have slingshotted forward though, to here. Because you slingshotting yourself forward, like you know this trace is here, right? So it's like you can literally just stay back, right? You can literally stay back here, let your Ashe deal with the tracer with your damage boost, and then you could push forward for this res. I know you want to get this res off, right? So literally just wait for it rather than just, what's it called? GAing just directly into the tracer. I need to stop that because someone's left on the enemy team, so it means I can't get back to you. But oh yeah, so you get the res off right now, I guess. Oh, okay, so the Ashes are getting you. Where's the okay, the Ashe is right here. What happened to your team? Sorry, I've spent my entire time like trying to flick to and from people, but I'm like, I didn't know what happened to your team. So what happened? So we end up going back, which is great. I feel as though you did the correct movement here, because you trying to go and help this Bastion will put you in really bad LOS of the enemy Ashe. Ashe has a body block for me. Oh, okay. It would have been better if you got a Zarya bubble. So I would have waited. Okay. Okay. Where did your Zarya go? Okay, your Zarya is with you. Okay. At this point, you need to communicate with your what's called, with your Zarya, and ask your Zarya, do you have a bubble? Because you going in, especially because you know the enemy team has an Ashe, you need to, like, what's called, you even need to wait for the Ashe to come and help body block you, like, because obviously, you know, that it's a little bit unusual for a Mercy res, but of course, you know, it can work. But also you can communicate with your Zarya here, because your Zarya is still right next to you. You could be like, hey Zarya, do you have a bubble for me so I can res? You know, but obviously like make sure that she has the bubble before you go in for the res. Or wait for the Ashe to come forward and body block for you, because right now you're already going for this res before your Ashe has chance to come in for the body block. All right. So yeah, I would basically just try and communicate with your Zarya beforehand whether she has that bubble or not before you go in, because unfortunately you do end up getting your head taken off by the Ashe head, you know, in a second. I know you to go back and then go forward again. But it's just unfortunate. And we'll just see what happens to your team while this happens. You still have your break though, which is great. So obviously, you know, break can really help, like, keep your team up, especially because there's only 4 of them now. Sadly, they've had a leaver. So your break goes down. So I'm glad that your Ashe is coming out to come and, like, get you, which is very, very nice. Sadly, can't go into good help your cast. He just basically goes in by himself. Love how you recognize there's an anti on though, so you fix the damage boost straight away. Such a good habit to get into. Love it. Love the rotation, and I love this valve. Lovely res. Like, knowing where, like, people are and stuff, that was great. Such a good res. Okay, I don't like this GA forward though. Like, you can literally just hand back here and just kind of like play these pillars a little bit more, or even like play the fire truck, but like the higher parts of the fire truck. Like, obviously, you know, this tracer is still going to be here, but remember, you still want your break with you, and also this tracer is going to struggle with you also being in Valk in order to help you. So you GAing forward, especially directly into the LOS of these two, can really, like, you know, basically make you take damage that could maybe kill you, but also at the same time just be unnecessary damage in general, right? I love how obviously you kind of like rectify it and do end up like coming up onto this high ground, which is really, really nice. But I would maybe just kind of like stay behind these instead. Just kind of like stay back and instead of like, you know, G'ing into everyone. Gosh, how far along was it? There we go. So there's a heal up Brig, which is really, really nice. Lovely peel back for her and stuff. I wouldn't do a super jump up there, just what's called, you know that Ashe is going to be there as well. And especially because you're now playing in higher ranks now, Froggy, people are going to really capitalize on you when you do super jumps like that. So you just have to be like really cautious when you're J'ing up into the air, basically a little bit more now. That's alright. I love how you're using this tunnel. Honestly, you can, so a really, really good tip is if people aren't pushing through this choke, because normally people will make 2 rotations on this map. They'll either rotate underneath or they'll rotate through this tunnel, right? if they're not rotating through this tunnel and your team are holding this choke, you can pretty much hold this tunnel and just kind of like play here and play it like so safe and stuff like that. It's such a good advantage point, specifically if like your Ashe is still playing up here, for example, then you can very easily just, you know, play back here basically. But it's fine. I'm just gonna stay here for a second because your other person is joined back, and it hopefully means I can like get to you in a second. No, it can't because I've just gone back, so we're gonna have to go all the way back again. I'll just pause it so we're not getting like random sounds and stuff. It's the unfortunate effects of obviously being on, what's it called? Being on Xbox, we can't like quickly flick through people, sadly. I might have gone a bit too far, I feel like. Oh yeah, okay, so this you obviously use this high ground that I've just said is like great high ground to use and stuff. I love how you're checking up there, but instead of just like gliding like back down to come and help your team, just stay up here. Like you're kind of like, you know it's safe, and then you're gliding away from where it's safe. Just if you know it's safe here for the time being, just play up here. Damage boost from up here, you know, like just play up here. You can also like kind of like back down to, like to these stairs if you need to as well, especially because your Ashe and your Cass are going to now be coming up here and stuff like that. If you damage boost your Cass or your Ashe right here, if that Tracer comes in and blinks in and you have the damage boost already on like those characters, they can already like get the get the Tracer before she even comes in. All right, so you just want to kind of like put your beam on like one of these two, and just instead of like gliding away from where it's safe, just play on these stairs. Play like where it is already safe for you. Okay, but we'll keep going. End up going in to go to help Zarya, which is fine. Lovely rotation. You can stay with your Ashe here though. Like this is a very kind of like, this is a rotation that you just don't need to do now. Because and the reason why I'm saying this is because you know this Tracer is still behind, because obviously you didn't kill the Tracer and she basically like blinked into this room, so you already know she's going to be behind. So you GAing back here is putting yourself at risk to her a little bit more than what you like kind of need. I would just GA and stay with your Ashe up here. Maybe like pockets it from like here, for example, so you could quickly flick down here to help your team out on here, and at the same time help your Ashe. Because once again, you've already checked this tunnel, and you can come back and come and check this tunnel again if you need to. But you already know that the team is already pushing the low ground, and you can hear the Ashe shooting from the low ground. So you already know this passageway is safe, and you can literally just play on these stairs like this. All right. But we'll keep going. The cast, which is great. Lovely backwards GA. Obviously, you know the Trace on the point. I want to play this in this mode just to see what happens. Okay. This was a bad communication, and I don't know whether this is on your part or whether it's part on the Ashe's part, right? If you want to go for this res, you have to communicate it. Okay? Yeah. And this isn't... This is lucky on the res kind of counter, but it's also on the Ashe, right? Because, okay, in this scenario, I like this res, especially because this Zarya has grab, right? Because this grab can essentially get everyone together and stuff like that. That's great. And also, you get this res off, like, because you got it off pretty quickly and stuff. I like the res. I think it's great. The only issue is that your Ashe also goes in to go and contest the Tracer. Now, this means if she loses this 1v1, it's kind of your fault. Now, I don't know whether this is a miscommunication on your Ashe's part, is a miscommunication on your part, or something like that. But I feel as though, because you're in VC and stuff like that, you kind of like need to be a bit vocal and say, I want to res the brig. And this communicates to your Ashe, which means your Ashe will stay kind of around this area. It means your Zarya can then, instead of giving herself this bubble, she could then give it to you, which I feel as though she did. I can't remember. Hold on, let me rewind it back a bit. So, played up on here, which is really, really nice. So helping break, helping all that. So, you see that she's gone down. This is a perfectly fine res. I really, really like this res. The only issue with it is that I feel as though this is a communication with you issue. Please correct me if I'm wrong, Froggy. Like, if you did say I want to res this, and please do come at me and shout at me, because I don't want to be like, hey, this is your problem. It's like, well, I actually do communicate it. Like, okay. As long as you communicate this and say, I want to res, Zarya has a bubble ready for you, and also Tracer won't, what's it called? Sorry, Ashe won't go and contest this Tracer, okay? So it was a good, it's a really, really good res if it was communicated well and stuff, right? So obviously we go in and res. What do we do here? Okay, it's a bit of a weak GA to get around. I feel as though this is kind of like your only, obviously your only escape option is your, what's it called? Is your Zarya, right? I didn't say anything, focus on trying to res quickly. Froggy, like, you just need to like be a little bit quicker with it though. Like, you know the break's gone down. You need to take that split-second decision of can I res, can I not. You decide that you need to. Literally, if you need to, just scream it in like voice chat, like I want to res, and like just go in and do it. Usually, then at that point, obviously, people like pay attention and stuff like that. But you just need to, once again, you just need to communicate it a little bit more. But yeah, but obviously, I think it was a weak kind of like what's it called? Kind of like a weak directional GA in order to get up onto the thing. Just let it charge up a little bit more, because you started kind of like walking away. Like literally, if you want this to be your escape route, just stay where you are. Don't walk towards your Zarya, because it will allow you to get that, what's it called? The GA was fine though. You just needed to build up that charge a little bit more. Build up that charge on that GA, which allows you just to boop, and then you're straight back to your Ashe, which is like perfect. But overall, it's just communication, all right? But it's a lovely damage boost on the Bob. Lovely, lovely. Obviously, you realise that you can't go and help your Ashe when you go and damage boost there, which is perfect. Lovely rotation. You know you can't res. Very, very nice. I feel as though my only issue is just you need to, what's it called? You, so this is perfect. Your GA up to here was perfect, all right? And then obviously you're going to go help your Ashe. My only thing that I would have done when you're going to go help your Ashe is I would have GA'd up onto this high ground instead, rather than just being on the ground, because obviously you being on the ground puts you very vulnerable to the people that are still alive, like the Rhyme, for example. So you can literally just GA up and come up here, and then you can still assist your team and stuff like that. And then you should also kind of like know in your head with your res timings that you don't have your res available and stuff. And you can obviously res him while the team fight's done, which is, I feel, is what you're going to do now. Perfect use of cover too. And yeah, and then this is where you should have been stood, basically. But other than that, great. Love how you stopped yourself. I would have maybe like not gone in to go and help the Reaper here. The reason is because you trying to help the Reaper here is very, very risky. Not on your own behalf, but also because you have a Brig here. As long as Brig has a pack available, she can just pack the Reaper. So you just GAing out into the open, especially when you don't know who is here, is very, very risky, because you obviously, you know, you end up getting tagged by the Ashe and stuff like that. So literally you just have to, you have to basically trust your Brig at this point. And obviously you're in like Diamond now. You're in that kind of rank where you should be able to trust your second DPS quite a lot. So yeah, you can literally just stand here and you can just damage boost your Ashe. And if obviously if you do end up clearing people out, obviously you don't have that res either. So it's just, you know, playing that safety basically. But anyways, lovely. Lovely cover. It's just unfortunate. I love that though, how you're playing. Okay, this GA, okay, good. You did the right thing. Let's start off, right? As soon as you see your Ashe die, you did the 100% the correct thing of just hiding here. Because at the moment, nobody really needs your help with healing, and there's no point trying to risk yourself, because obviously the enemy Ashe knows where you are. As soon as you need to put your beam on, which is obviously when the Zarya does, this little mini GA needs to be either like back here or really, because you can... Basically, because you can't fit Mercy on this side because of these poles, but you can fit her on this side. And actually fitting her on this side and making sure that your beam is on here, you're completely blocking LOS of this Ashe, because you know where this Ashe is. So don't get me wrong, this is good like backwards GA, but this backwards GA needed to be a little bit more directional, a little bit more aiming towards this side. And then you could just jiggle peek this little corner like this to help your Zarya. Because your Brig is very disengaged, you're obviously not going to help your Reaper, and there's probably going to be no way that you're going to res that unless if you ask for a bubble and stuff, which I feel as though is already like way too risky to do, especially because you've got Bob, Trace, and everything like that. So you just need to like play this cover a little bit more. All right. Oh, it's just unfortunate you end up getting picked off because of it as well. But it's fine. Let's just see what's happening. Zarya backs off, which is nice. Reaper didn't get picked off.
must return to my post.
That's he managed to help onto soldier. But sadly, I think this is going to be a loss now. It was a lovely pick by your soldier though. Okay. Nice stall. Very, very nice stall. Okay. The stall is really, really good, I will say, right? My only issue is the Valk, right? Because I feel as though it all kind of goes wrong where you don't end up following your soldier. Because your soldier is very committed on going in. I feel like it's a communication thing again. Where your soldier doesn't communicate that I want to recontest this kind of thing. Because if this was like a no comms scenario and stuff like that, I feel as though you've done the right thing. But because you have comms with the soldier, your soldier needs to be communicating the the tank was yelling to stay on point. Yeah, so Froggy, you need to kind of like follow that, especially because your soldier's following that. You need to trust your team at this point. Go in with the soldier, play your beams and stuff like that, right? Because then it means I think you would be able to get the Valk off a little bit quicker and then like maybe like played up here and stuff like that. I don't know whether it would have saved your soldier or not. In fact, let's rewind it. I actually want to see whether it would save your soldier. So, yeah. So it's this scenario where you don't end up being with him and stuff like that. You know, you kind of like you hesitate and then you don't end up going in with him. You need to have your beam on him and going in with him, right? He wasn't antied. I feel as though if you were pushed up enough, you yourself probably would have got antied, but you would have kept your beam on him. I don't know whether this would have saved him or not, but this is a very kind of like hindsighty scenario. The reason why I'm going so in depth about this with you, Froggy, as well, is because you're like so high ranked now. You know that it's these like little mini mistakes and stuff like that can be kind of like a win or a loss. You know, it's not like you're making like really like big errors all the time and stuff like that, right? So obviously, Bree can't do anything about. I love this stall. Like, your movement is really, really good. My only issue is that you kind of, because your main like kind of things that are going to harm you are obviously these two hit scans here, the Honor and the Ash, right? So while you're doing this like stalling and using, you know, people's like dead bodies and stuff basically in order to move around, you still have to keep your eye on where these two are, okay? Because it means that then you can find on what kind of movements, you know, what things are going to be really, really good for you. Obviously, it was a great sleep on the Reaper, and it feels like that's what kind of throws you off. You end up, obviously, you know, the Reapers are getting slept, and you end up kind of thinking that the safety's here. Your safety isn't here. Your safety is actually over here. If you played, like, here, I feel like, I don't know if you would have like stayed a little bit more, because currently the Ryan's currently just, I think he was like DCing again or something, because he's currently just like staring at the wall. And Lifeweaver doesn't seem to be really wanting to focus you right now. Lifeweaver is very focused on the Reaper. So literally, if you use your stall, like the first initial stall was great. It's as soon as this Reaper kind of comes, you kind of forget about where your good positioning is. Just still play around here. All right. So obviously you do end up getting kind of attacked by the Honor. You end up getting Dynamite on you as well, which doesn't help. And then Honor ends up hitting another shot on you. Oh. Huh? Wait. Did they see 9? C9? Yeah, I was about to say, did they see 9? Okay, yeah, so yeah. So this is the point where when your Reaper comes back, you want to use one of these 2 orbs and come and play this point, alright? They see 9? So Ryan's currently DCing all the way over here, right? Ash is kind of on and off. Do they all step off as soon as you die? So Lifeweaver comes back on. You die. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the Lifeweaver uses a petal platform because he's too low. The Ash coach guns away to be away from the Reaper. And then they don't step back on. That is an extremely bad C9. I will say that. Yeah. I'm not gonna lie to you, Froggy. If they didn't C9 that, they would have won that fight. I'm gonna be honest. But it's good that they C9'd. So honestly, a win's a win, and I would gladly take it. So Froggy, overall, a really, really strong VOD. Your movement, you pretty much, apart from there was a few little sloppy movements, but you're always going to get that. But you've really, really cleaned that up from last time. Damages to heal beams, I cannot fault you. Once again, really, really good. Okay, things that we need to improve on. And also your reses as well. Your reses were really, really good. We just need to work on kind of positioning a little bit more, right? Where it's like finding where's the safest and stuff. Like, for example, you know what I was describing, the little tunnel? Like, this one here, where you could, like, hug this wall and stuff like that. It's, like, little bits like that, okay? And also the, what's it called? This carriage and stuff like that. It's knowing that it's safe for you to play that position now. Because, obviously, you know they're not going to be pushing up here. So you could just, like, play on here instead of, like, gliding out and make yourself vulnerable, all right? So there's just a few little tiny things, right, like that. I feel as though your reses are good and stuff like that. Like, cannot fault them. Biggest piece of advice to you is your communication, right? Because specifically, like, with your reses and stuff like that, or just things in general, you just need to communicate a little bit more with what you want to do, right? So communicate, be like, I want to res the you know, the break. Or when it was, like, up here and you wanted to res, I think it was the bastion or something, you know, be like, hey Zari, do you have a bubble for me? Or, like, maybe just wait for, what's it called, wait for the Ash to body block you, like you said, right? You just have to, like, that little extra little bit of communication and stuff like that. And the other thing as well is just you have, like, a tiny little bit of an obsession with the point at certain points and stuff like that. So what's it called? Like, you just what's it called? Like, try not to be on the point as much. Like, I know obviously there's, like, certain points where you can push it, but as soon as you see that contested thing on the screen, get yourself out of there. Like, because that's when enemies are going to be on the point. That's when they're at the most like, obviously the most vulnerable to you. So you're the most vulnerable to them even. So, like, I love obviously that you're playing, like, the point at certain points, especially, like, to push it. As soon as you see that contested sign, get yourself out of there. Like, leave. But no, honestly, other than that, Froggy, a very, very strong VOD. I'm not used to comments, so I hesitate when I'm in groups now. The thing is, Froggy, right? So you know people in this lobby, like, you know your soldier and you know your Zarya. I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. So if people are starting to be mean to you or start, like, you know, saying nasty things or, like, you know, just, like, not being nice in general, I would hope that these people would back you up. All right, but if not, you can just mute those people and stuff like that, you know? I feel as though if you want to start off small, maybe just stay in a group with the people that you're grouped with and come with them. And then when you get a little bit more confident, get into that voice chat and come with other people. Now, obviously, it's harder than just saying that because obviously it's Overwatch. There's a lot of nasty people in this game, unfortunately. And even myself, I cannot speak in voice chat because I know that I will get called, you know, every single slur on the planet pretty much that you can towards me. So yeah, but Froggy, if you feel like you're confident to do that, start with the group thing, communicate with your group and who you're queued with, and then if you go into, like, a team, then obviously I feel as though you should be able to trust the people that you're queued with and stuff like that. Then yeah, you should be all right. But I feel as though this whole VOD, I'm going to call this VOD something to do with, like, how important comms are, or how important communication is, because communication can honestly win you games. Like, even if your team are not mechanically the best compared to the other team, yeah, what's it called? Yeah, I'm just gonna end it now because I've got nothing else to say. But for you, I hope that was alright. Once again, thank you everyone on YouTube or on Twitch that's hung around and what's it called, stuck around. By all means, you can get your own VOD views. They offer 5,000 channel points on my Twitch. You can literally come in, you can come and look. They're all for free. I do them every single Monday as well, and then I stream on Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. I'll see you all later. Bye.